After that, he just kept pouring. Every time my glass was even half empty, he would bring the shivas over. I can't remember whether he was also pouring so much for Sher, Fann, and Emo. He must have, I think. But then in the end, it was only me. About 1 hour and 6 double-shot whiskey sodas later, who was suddenly feeling like not dancing anymore. A voice came, so close to my ear I could feel a sticky hotness. I didn't need to turn around to know who it was. I could feel him already, the front of his bulky jeans rubbing against my bum. Sher and Emo were convinced that Calvin stuffed his crotch with socks. No way someone so short could be so big. Aiyo, please lah, I said, turning my head around to shout so he could hear me. Gu Nyang here mabok almost to the point of throwing up already, and you still want to be like that. But he just kept rabba-ing and didn't go away. By the time I fully turned around so I could actually push him back, I could see from his saggy lids and big smile that he was quite gone. Calvin just blinked and stumbled off to try his luck with some fresh girls near the next table. Jazz, you okay? Sher had finally come back from wherever she'd gone. Neither of us had seen Emo, or Louis for that matter, in a while. You look a bit too high, she said, cupping my face. No lah, I'm okay. Don't worry, I just need some air. I turned back around again, leaning against the cool stainless steel railing that kept us from falling over onto the sprawling dance floor beneath. I could feel Sher rubbing my back. It felt good. Her face leaned in next to mine. We both looked over at the floor beneath us, filled with bodies jammed next to each other. I couldn't remember the last time we went to a club and didn't have a VIP table. We were all getting older already lah. Going clubbing on the main levels is for the youngsters. Us old birds have no energy anymore to push and squeeze and get noticed in such a crowd. Sher was pointing at something below, a group of abangs in a small circle with one of them in the middle. Each one stood firmly in a spot, holding onto his pleated pants waistband with his right hand, as if trying to steady himself while he rocked violently from the waist upward. The other hand was raised up high, waving above his head. Even though we were 1 floor up, we could hear them shouting, Yo ayo, yo ayo. Ayo, this phrase so old already, still want to say. Back in the 80s, everyone was lousy at dancing lah. So the main way was just to yo back and forth to the music and shout, Yo ayo. Nowadays, everyone knows much more about dancing, but these bangs somehow are still out there doing this nonsense. Oi! Sher suddenly shouted, leaning over slightly as she waved and pointed at the group. Yeah, you, bang! This one not 1985 anymore, you know. You still yo-ayo? Lao bok ah. The bangs stared up, looking confused. When they saw Sher waving her third finger at them, they started to whisper to each other, holding their hands up to cover their mouths as they talked. Typical brainless type. We are so far up. How to hear anything? My God, it was too much. I started laughing. At first, just a little bit. But then when Sher started laughing also, we held on to each other and just started laughing louder and harder. I even slapped my hand on my thigh so hard I could feel it getting hot from how painful it was. But then suddenly, I started to feel something else. It began in my chest. A burp, I thought. Next thing I knew, I was leaning over the railing, shooting crap out of my mouth like one of those big fire engine hoses. I could taste chivas and some green tea mixed with bits of the noodles my mum made me eat before coming out. I remember 2 things happening as it started. Sher's left hand catching my shoulder as I bent over, and her right hand quickly grabbing and holding back my hair.